Glenlivet Archive, 21 years old, a measly €230 here in Belgium. Are you willing to pay that for a whiskey? Welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief, and tonight we are taking that Glenlivet. We will pull it apart, we will nose it, we will taste it, we will see if I am willing to, well, pay that €230. It is available here in Belgium. I can press a button and it will be at my house within 1 or 2 days. Am I willing to press that button on this one? Now, it is, well, first problem for me, and I don't want to be too negative. I always try to find the good in every whiskey. And, well, that 43% ABV, I would wish to be maybe at least a 46% ABV. That would make a little bit more sense, especially if I look at that price. Ex-bourbon cask, ex-sherry cask influences. So for me, that's really ticking the boxes. And this, for the people that want to know, this is cask number 09180. So if you want to go find something that is similar or very well the same as what I have, you can look at the cask number as well. So yeah, the nosing and the tasting, I'm going to try to keep my videos short. I know you guys are interested in the nosing and the tasting and the opinion, well, my humble opinion. So color wise, I'm not even sure if it is natural color. I didn't want to go delve too deep into this whiskey before I get tainted with some other people's nosing and tasting notes. But I did go online just to ensure that I can understand what type of maturation it is. Now for me, I go to the Glenlivet website, I type in the Archive 21 and the specific bottle that I have, or with the specific label, because I also change the labels, and I could not find any information on this one. So that means my other options, I need to go look at other people's reviews, I need to go look online, all the different shops, making different notes. Very difficult to find information and to know if it's 100% accurate. So if I do not have that information, of course I'm not going to put it in, and I'm not going to talk about something that might be wrong. I have a lot of fact checkers in my channel, which I appreciate. So if I don't know anything, if I don't get that proper 100% correct information, then I'm not going to talk about it. So color wise, I couldn't find any information if it's natural or not. It is 21 years old, so if I look at the color, it does look consistent to me. It is sherry cask again. Consistency looks okay. Of course, at 43% ABV, there's definitely some chill filtration going on. So color wise, nice little golden, almost a little bit a coppery, and maybe a light amber coming through. Again, consistency, but then it gets to the nose, and it is a lovely nose. It is that friendliness, it's relaxed, there's a maturity to it. It just sits back, laid back, relaxed atmosphere that it creates in your nose. And I do like it. So there is a lightness. That sherry is quite friendly. It is not an overly sherried whiskey. There is a lightness, that little sherry notes, that little bit of a raisin notes come through, but it's not that punchy with the dates and the figs, the Christmas cake. It is, if I would say Christmas cake, I would say something in the distance that you are not in your face. So it's not a bold Christmas cake type of note that comes in. There's more fruity components as well. I do get some vanillas. I get a little bit of a dried peaches coming through. And I also get a hint of a custard note, and of that vanilla and that creamy custard note that comes out, which I normally would not associate with a sherried whiskey, but it is very pleasant. There's also a little bit of a floral note, freshly cut flowers, summer flowers, that perfumey note that comes from that, but also a green note. If you, with that flowers, that stems that was cut, it gives off that specific aroma of a cut stems. And for me, it smells like the color of green, and that like cut grass type of green note that I get. Now a hint of that also appears, which makes it pleasant and it feels more summery. Now for me, a sherried whiskey, normally I like to have it in winter time. This one, I think summertime definitely can also work for this whiskey, especially because it's only 43% ABV. There's a hint of a stewed apricots. There's a little bit of a oak, a nice oak, a sweet oak that appears in it as well. And we expect that 21 years maturation. So there should be an oakiness. Hopefully they did a good cask management so that it doesn't pull all of that bitter tannins out of the whiskey and you are left with a bitter mouth. Not a big fan of that. So on the nose for me, it is really nice. At alcohol 43, I keep on saying it, even if I do a little bit of an agitation, I release the molecules, stick the big nose into it, there's almost no alcohol for me. It is just lovely, friendly. And of course, we have to taste it as well. And before I taste it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Help the channel to get to 2,000, hopefully soon as possible. And of course, ad revenue goes to the children in South Africa. I can tell you it's not much. So a lot of people have asked me, how do I contribute? Patreon, there's super chats, I have a PayPal account, you name the things, I have it. And I do not keep the money. It goes to kids in South Africa to help buy them food. We are looking at 75 kids. And well, do what you have to. What does your heart tells you? And if you don't have money, just like, share, and subscribe, and ask all your friends to subscribe and look at the channel. That ad revenue can then add up. Rant and begging over. Yeah, on the taste. And I'm quite looking forward to this one. And I am a little bit mixed feeling. If I really love it, it's going to be 230 euros out of the pocket. And do I venture in buying it? That will be answered soon. Cheers. Now, it is 43% ABV. I'm a big boy. I like the big strong whiskies. I like the ones 48 up to 60 odd ABV. I took a big sip. It feels a little bit watered down for me. It just goes down. I don't get any of the alcohol burns. Well, I am a whiskey drinker. I'm used to it. So be careful when you do it yourself. Make sure that you drink it at the perfect ABV that is, well, it's made for you. But definitely not a big alcohol shock. I get that sweetness and I get a little bit of an oakiness. But it is a different type of oak. It's a sweet oak. It is not a bitter tanniny oak. It just gives you, when you taste it, there's an idea of that oak that is there. For me, this is perfect cask management. I'm always skeptical and I'm always scared that I'm going to spend a lot of money on a whiskey that is going to be overly oaked and too much of that bitter, what they would call the coffee notes, the espresso notes, the Turkish coffee note, the dark chocolate notes. For me, 90% dark chocolate is a bitter chocolate. Not a big fan of it, but it is an element that I don't always appreciate. Let me try again. Cheers. That sherry is definitely there, but it is not dominant. It is not something that is overly sweet. There's a lovely sweetness to it, but it does not, well, it doesn't push up the diabetes. It doesn't push up the sugar levels. So nice level, nice balance for me. Definitely not going to add water to this one. It's watered down enough already. So nice, pleasant, friendly. One more try. Cheers. Even on the second sip, there's a hint of an oak appearing, not a bitter oak, just an oaky taste to it, which I expect, and it is quite pleasant, and I must say I quite enjoy it. What I also did pick up on this sip is a little bit of a fresh fruit note, and that's something that you normally don't pick up when you have a big sherry influence whiskey. Now this one has got a little bit of a green apple note appearing in the end, especially in the finish. Give it a couple of seconds, that finish note, when you take a deep breath, I get a little bit of a green apple note, or any apple note, to be honest, and it is really pleasant on that finish. A little bit dry mouth, but it's sweet. Your mouth is still covered with a lovely sweetness. So quite enjoy that. And I just want to make sure there's a little spiciness, even at that 43%. That little alcohol spice, but just for like half a second, it just creates a little bit of a warm feeling, and a warm feeling going down, but nothing over excessive. Still not going to add water to this one. Now, what is my opinion? At 230 euros here in Belgium, it seems to be on par price-wise with a lot of whiskey, especially at the age of 21 years old. Now, I have to balance. If I were willing to spend that type of money on a whiskey, considering there is so many whiskies out there that's much cheaper, and sometimes will give you so much more flavor than this one. Now, if I am a person that buys a bottle every 6 months, and I can afford something like this, I will definitely buy it. And I will sit back and I will enjoy it. But considering the amount of whiskey that I buy in a month, and to then justify spending this on a 21-year-old whiskey, which I think is, except for the ABV, I think it is a good price point. I had some, the Kavalan, for example. I know they go faster, they get older faster, the dog years compared to Scotland, but it was some ridiculous prices. Now, for me, it was still okay, but I have so many comments on my Kavalan video. People are saying that they are paying up to $350 for a Kavalan Solus. that is just absolutely crazy, but that is just my opinion. Back to this one. If you have tried it, of course, leave a comment. What do you think? Are your notes the same as my notes? What else did you pick up? Remember, it's very subjective. Our memory banks are completely different, but it's just a lovely one. And I wish my wallet was much more friendlier, and my credit card more has got more money in it, then I would definitely buy it. So leave me a comment, give your opinion. Did you buy it? If not, if you considered it, why did you decide not to buy it? And of course, what is the alternative for you at a better price point. So thank you very much for watching, and of course, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers.